they got the Toronto Raptors number.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's psychologically, obviously, physically, they were very good this regular season. They had the second best record in the NBA. We all documented all of that. A lot of people thought they were the favorite even coming into this, even though Cavaliers had LeBron James. But wow, after they lost game one, when they were playing, you know, volleyball with the ball, putting the ball in to win game one, it went like this the rest of the way, to the point where in game three they even played DeMar DeRozan down the stretch of that game, which was, I mean, obviously they had a chance to win the game. You go with the team that was rolling, but still, that's kind of bizarre. And then last night, a closeout game, we lose by 35. That was incredible. But to LeBron's point, like to the point about the Cavs, so you're closing out the Toronto Raptors, looking forward to the next series, whether you're playing Boston or Philly does a miraculous thing and comes back from being down 3-0. You want to get your guys involved. So you see J.R. Smith, super hot last night, didn't miss a shot. Kyle Korver, another great game for him. Kevin Love, another great game for him. George Hill, another great. You want all your guys playing well as you go into the Eastern Conference.
Now, I got to go to the other side. I'm going to make you, I think you'll like this, I'm going to make you general manager.
Okay. Now we're talking.
You mentioned Cavs have Toronto's number.
Yeah.
Carlos, how do we go forward? What do you do with your roster and or your coach in Toronto?
The first thing I would do is see what LeBron James does this offseason.
Okay.
Personally, because let me tell you why I say that. So if he leaves the Eastern Conference to go west, which he may or may not do, then maybe my team can come out the East now because he's playing similar to what the 90s teams went through when they played against Michael Jordan. They're playing in the LeBron James era. And it just is what it is. He's that great of a player where he's beaten teams. He beat my team with the Bulls, with D. Rose and the rest of the guys. He's beaten the other Miami teams, Indiana Pacer teams, and obviously this Raptors team 3 years in a row. They're playing in an era where they're playing against the best player in the game. So if he goes west, the Toronto Raptors look pretty good next season. But if he doesn't, maybe I break it up. Maybe I get a new coach in there. I'm not sure.
Now, with you being around the NBA the last 15 years, having a lot of intel that we necessarily don't have, are you comfortable with Dwayne Casey as your coach moving forward?
Yeah, I think he's a very good coach. I do think that one play that's still sticking out to me right now, the play where LeBron made that incredible shot off the glass that we keep replaying over and over and over and over. Why didn't you just double team him and make anybody else on the team shoot the ball? He did you a favor by bringing the ball up the court. I'm not saying that that cost him his job. I think he's a very good coach. Obviously, they had the #1 record in the Eastern Conference. But I still think, depending on what LeBron does, would depend on whether I break this whole thing up.
If LeBron stays, you can't stick with the status quo.
I agree.
Now, I think that it is so hard to impossible.
Wait, status quo being all the same
players, same players, coach. You got to make a significant change.
Okay.
To me, that I understand why some people would say fire Dwayne Casey. I think there's too many awful coaches in the NBA to fire one that I think is actually pretty good.
He's a good coach, though.
That's my point. I think he's actually pretty good, and you're not guaranteed to get a good one.
I'm just going to tell you, I do subscribe by the theory a good coach can get fired.
Okay,
oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can win 50 games and still get fired in my book.
I understand that. I get that part of it. I would be more likely to test the trade market for DeMar DeRozan if LeBron stays in the East. But your point about LeBron dominating the East, since LeBron came back to Cleveland, they've played 11 series against the Eastern Conference. 7 have been sweeps, including sweeping the 1 seed multiple times. The first time ever a 1 seed's been swept prior to the conference finals. They're 44-8 in those 11 series against the Eastern Conference as he came back to Cleveland. If we want to expand it to when he was in Miami, when he knocked you guys out, they played 23 series against the Eastern Conference. They're 23-0. With an overall record of 92-24. Teams aren't even, it was an outlier that Indiana took them to 6 games, much less 7. So that is what you're dealing with.
And I would listen to the argument as far as the East being a little inferior if I didn't see LeBron struggle during the regular season in Miami. He struggled some during that. They weren't always the best record. It wasn't like during the regular season, oh, it's just a cakewalk, and no matter what the seeding is. We have seen him be the 1st seed, the 2nd seed. This is the only time we've seen him outside of that go to the conference finals. So I understand the totality of the games. They play too many games against the East where you have seen the East have their number. So him dominating in the playoffs, he steps it up, and they're not able to step it up.
No, I agree with you 100%.
So when you look at the Cavs, though, what the transformation from CC and I got into it, and it was in Game 6, it made me look silly. After they won Game 5 against Indiana, I said that could be the turning point for their season. That game winner, and then in Game 6 they get blown out.
Right.
It feels now like the turning point was actually, for me, those few minutes when LeBron had cramps in Game 7. When the other guys had no choice but to make some plays. Maybe it was just good fortune or good luck, but Kevin Love scored, I think, 6 points in that stretch. George Hill makes a shot, comes in after dealing with the back spasm, comes in, makes a couple plays. Since then, those role players have looked like as good of role players outside of having a superstar like a Kyrie or D. Wade as LeBron's had. Do you think they can keep that up moving forward in the conference finals?
I think they have to. I think that's what LeBron wants to get those guys to do because he wants to win a championship. Any given moment, he could lay down and say, you know, I've done enough here. We look forward to the offseason, go work with my kids and get ready to see what I'm going to do next season. But he's fighting every game because he wants to win it. You know, he competes like he's chasing the GOAT. He's chasing greatness. He's chasing his own greatness.
Yeah.
So for me, he needs those other guys, the others as we call them, to play at a high level.
What do you think is best for the NBA? Where would LeBron have to go that would be you think best for the NBA?
I don't even know if he leaves. He might even stay, which I think people aren't really attracted to that option.
Most people
but
think that's completely off the table.
I know, and he might go to L.A. That's very sexy. Go to L.A., rebuild the Lakers. Maybe they partner up with Paul George or maybe Kawhi Leonard or maybe even Boogie Cousins, who we don't talk about anymore, and revitalize the Lakers. But he might not go anywhere. They may revamp it right there in Cleveland.
One quick thing before we go on the break and let you go. You mentioned LeBron chasing the GOAT. Is that how you refer to it? Is he still chasing Michael? Has he caught up to him?
I mean, for me, he's top 3. I mean, for me, I go Michael Jordan. I think Kareem is very underrated, and I go LeBron.
He's got the top 3. They're in the wrong order, but you got.
But by the time he retires, it could be LeBron.
Don't say no.
Whoa.
Good job, man.
See,
Thank you so much.
Hey, Brian, book him some more. Let's get him in.
We got to take a break. Is Joe Flacco on the hot?